the First Order. We will soon snuff out your meager resistance. You chose the wrong side, and now you will pay. The Resistance prisoners.
You have what I want. You know the location of the secret base, and I will take it from you.
We'll need it on the bridge.
Keep the prisoners here. I will return to finish this personally.
And what a great day it is to be talking Disney Parks news with Kingdom Report Live. Hey everybody, it's Wade from the Kingdom Report, and on today's show we'll be joined by special guest Taylor Kowalczyk as she slides alongside Garrett Hassel and myself as we get the latest Disneyland news stories and Walt Disney World updates for you teed up. Today we're going to be talking about a less evil villain's land is being reported. We brought the story to you last week about how they wanted it bigger and bolder, but now it might be nicer. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Disneyland is going to be dropping their park hopping timing rule. That is something that is long overdue, and the return of Disney Animation to Hollywood Studios is about to get underway. In addition to that, we talk about how to save when you visit the Disneyland Resort. Disneyland on a budget, ways to take care of business on the ground when you do a stay, we will be discussing. And if you would like to win yourself a copy of my book, Stand Alone, The Walt Disney Way, well, I've got it for you. All you have to do is leave the phrase that pays right underneath this video. Just after the live show is over at the Kingdom Report on YouTube, go ahead and enter Epcot Center. Epcot Center is the phrase that pays this week. Between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time in which to enter. If you are the winner, we will reach out to you and get this book shipped your direction, all by entering Epcot Center in the comment section underneath this video after the live show is over. Again, so many great Disney headlines to tackle, so many great things to talk about when it comes to Disney parks. We couldn't be happier that you decided to join us this weekend, and no matter where you are, it's always a pleasure being a part of your Disney family. Speaking of Disney family, we're all standing by, ready to go. Kingdom Report Live starts for you right now.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Oh yes, another Saturday means another great day to be talking Disney parks, everybody. It's Wade with Kingdom Report Live as we take that live look outside at the happiest place on earth, the Disneyland Resort. Look at Space Mountain in the distance, shimmering and shining and looking oh so beautiful like she does. And that's the Pixar Place Hotel. Even further beyond that, you got the Space Mountain, Grand Californian, and then the Pixar Hotel, all sort of layered on top of each other there. What a cool looking effect, and certainly what an opportunity for all of us to be able to say, hey, it's a great Saturday at Disneyland. And who might be those people saying, hey, it's a great Saturday at Disneyland? Well, they are the people that I am joined by, the people that make this show what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, this week we're joined by special guest, Taylor Kowalczyk. Hi, Taylor. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's good to have you back. It's been a while. For those that don't know, our dear friends Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzoni, they are on a 3-year wedding anniversary celebration this weekend. So Taylor decided to join us here and pinch hit, as we like to say. Taylor, share with everybody why they should know you, especially when it comes to the world of art, and where they can find your artistry.
So yeah, I'm actually studied animation in school. I'm an artist myself. I have a company called Higgitus Figgitus, where I do a bunch of Disney-inspired art, character-driven art. I have patches, ornaments, you name it. You can find me. My handle is Higgitus Figgitus, which I can share with you a little later. And you can find me on Instagram. I also have an Etsy shop, but my Etsy shop goes through my Instagram. So yes.
Fantastic. Well, everybody go check out some of that artwork. It's so much Disney-inspired fun to take a look at, and Taylor is a real talent when it comes to not only that, but also sharing her Disney Parks opinion. That's for sure. So, joining us also this week, he is our Kingdom Report reporter. We call him the Golden Goose. He goes by the name of Garrett Hassel. Hey, buddy.
Aloha, everyone. Hope you're having a magical day out there. Hi, Tom. Great to see you again, buddy. We'll get together real soon. Maybe come out to the Midwest for a good old Big Ten football game or something like that. But that's not Tyler or Katrina. She's slightly more blonde. So no, I'm just kidding. Good to see you again, Taylor. Welcome back to the show. Last week, I didn't know who our guest was going to be, and so I'm pleasantly surprised that it's a classic, someone from the past, but gone but never forgotten. So happy to have you aboard, and may the best of us win in trivia.
That's right.
We'll see about that. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity this week to steal the trivia game. Traditionally, Garrett, you don't have that luck, right?
No, I do. No, it's not in the cards for me.
You might get lucky this week.
Yeah, maybe this time.
Oh, Michael. Good to see you, Michael. Always there. He's always there. How much do we have to pay him for these cameos? Because I don't know if it's in the budget.
$15,000 every hello that Michael says.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why advertising is a premium here on Kingdom Report Live. That's for sure. So, yeah, terrifying when you cannot afford a Michael Eisner cameo, especially with all of his hellos. The man is known for his hellos. It's what he does.
It is indeed amongst criticism and other things.
Amongst many other things, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, today's show cannot get underway until, of course, we grab our mugs, we grab ourselves a cup of something nice, a cup of something delightful, a cup that we raise in the air and hoist above our heads merely for the sake of saying a new show is here. And that would be our show toast this week. The show toast this week is brought to you by Mr. Garrett Hassel. Garrett, who or what are we toasting?
What to toast to in life? There's so many amazing things. I am just going to toast to the Alani Disney Resort, which I've yet to go to, but I've got a lovely shirt from there.
Oh.
Yeah, and also a nice little bracelet provided by my wonderful father-in-law. Our law partner in is Moat's law firm, but no, a toast to the Alani Disney Resort. It takes a lot to build a resort in Hawaii to begin with, but also to have that distinct Hawaiian feel, but also be authentically Disney. And I think they've captured it. And one day I'll get to go there. But in the meantime, I will just live vicariously through the gifts I get. So to Alani, mahalo for all you do. And if you've gone out there and you need a Sherpa to carry your bags, give me a call. Or if you need someone to do a family portrait, Taylor can do that. Or if you need a narrator for all of your adventures, Wade is open too. Tyler and Katrina, they're not invited because they're not here this week. Right. So to Alani.
Yay!
Alani. Cheers. Cheers to the many alohas and all of the lays and all of the bright suns and ocean waves. Am I right? Beautiful, beautiful place to visit. Maybe one day you'll be there. And I know that when last I was in Honolulu, I did take a drive out and dined there for a little character dining, and
Oh,
it's a beautiful location, and it's kind of like tucked away on its own little.
it's next to the
sort of
Four Seasons
peninsula.
on the far side a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're spaced out enough that you hardly
No,
you
you're
hardly realize anybody else is out there, especially how far away it is from like kind of like the main touristy hub of Waikiki. It's far away from that, so they create kind of their own little treasure cove, their own little getaway, and I see why it's so popular. I see why people spend a fortune to go there. Pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Disney ain't cheap, even less cheap on the island.
Even less. That's right.
It takes a lot of money to get the magic out there.
It does, and hopefully they will continue, because I understand that their occupancy rates are always like they're booked out most of the time. It's very rare that they're not. So hopefully they'll continue growing that brand and growing out there in Hawaii, because there's that demand for it.
Yeah.
Might as well. If you want a bunch of
Yeah.
screaming kids running around in your Hawaii vacation paradise, you found the resort.
Or you go to the Polynesian and you still pay an arm and a leg.
Or that, along
Yeah.
with the screaming kids, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely, a little taste. Well, there is a lot of Disney news to talk about this week, but we can't get to it until we kick off our news and review segment. It's time for the Disney News Review. Let's go. Disney News Review time, taking a look at some of the biggest stories from across the Walt Disney Company in the past week. I understand that Walt Disney World is all aflutter right now. They've got some big announcements when it comes to animation returning to what was at one time kind of the animation courtyard of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Garrett, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so a brand new animation experience is coming to Disney's Hollywood studio, and it's about time because this was just sort of a meet and greet area where nothing was really going on. But this is going to give guests a hands-on look at how Disney movies are made. The experience is called The Magic of Disney Animation, and it focuses on letting guests step inside the animation process, which is great because most of us have no idea how animation is made. You just think it appears there, but there's someone drawing something back there. I'm sure Taylor can tell us more about what that's like if she's ever done any animation. I certainly have not. I just enjoyed it as a fan. But one of the main attractions is going to be where guests can learn to draw Disney characters step by step. And it's going to be held by a familiar friend who loves warm hugs, and that is Olaf. And it's going to be an audio animatronic that is teaching art. Yeah, Olaf is teaching art. I don't know how that's going to be. You've seen how he recaps stories like Frozen 1 and all the other Disney stories. I can only imagine like how to draw a character. He's going to start at the end and then somehow end it at the beginning. It's going to go great. But it's going to be pretty motivating to have a snowman teach you as long as he doesn't melt in class. But yeah, each class will feature a different character. So just, oh gosh, I really don't want to be covered in. Thank you, Stacy. I really don't want to be covered in Olaf, but man, what a great experience that would be.
No
when
snowman
I'm
juice.
When I'm older, it'll all make sense. So yeah, you'll be able to draw Mickey, Moana, Stitch, and others. This is very similar. If you've never been to a class like this, they also have one at Disney's California Adventure that has never stopped. It is always popular. And meanwhile, Disney Hollywood Studio, the half-day park, well, they're finally bringing it back to make it a 3/4 of a day park. But along with the experience, there's going to be interactive areas where guests can meet characters representing the different stages of animation. You might see characters connected to story development, animation, lighting effects, or all the other different things. And there's also an art gallery where artwork actually comes to life in a theater called Once Upon a Studio. And it seems like that's going to be just like what they have out at DCA. So overall, the attraction is meant to be educational and fun. Learn how you can animate, but also get out of that Florida heat because my gosh, it is hot out there. And my hair just goes crazy. And if I'm not having a good hair day, I'm not having a good day at all.
Oh, we know it to be true, you poor boy. And yeah, this is a big moment for Hollywood studios to sort of return to form, I guess we could say, when it comes to kind of what the highlight was originally back in the late 80s, early 90s when this park opened. This was one of the main attractions for the park. It was the animation building, and it was the whole animation experience around it. And, it faded away later on as Other things became a little more popular than hand-drawn animation, and obviously Pixar was acquired, and things started to change, and hand-drawn animation isn't something you see too much anymore at the Walt Disney Company. But here it is. We're finally at a place where, after Star Wars kind of has run its course, I guess, in this space, we are returning to animation as the saving grace. Now, Taylor, when it comes to Disney animation, it is often thought of as the heart and soul of the company, despite the fact that it has, gotten to a point where they don't infuse it very much in things anymore. But as this revived concept returns to Hollywood studios, how important do you think it is for guests to have a link to classic Disney animation? And what would you rather like to see added to a space like this?
I think it's absolutely important to have, this kind of thing, attraction for guests to experience. Because, 2D animation, is a dying art. But luckily, I feel that Disney is trying to bring it back. And I know that they have been talking about bringing 2D animation back. So I think it's great that they have this to kind of show the new generation of kids how it is to actually create a movie, a cartoon, whatever your imagination comes up with. And I think this is fun because, they're bringing in Olaf, which I'm not understanding why they decided to go with Olaf of all the Disney characters. I get it. He's very noticeable by all the kids and everything, but I feel like they could have gone with another character, maybe like Rapunzel or something, someone that actually draws. Mickey Mouse would have been great, but I get it. They're trying to, use Olaf around the parks. And he's fantastic, but I think it's very important to have this. I'm very excited to see it. I just hope that they keep the idea of an actual animator as well. I know they're going to be showing, pre-recorded things of how the animation is done with helping Olaf as well. But I just hope that they keep that it's a person that's drawing it and not going into fully the technology of everything. Because I think that's what we as artists don't want technology to take over, like AI or anything like that. So keeping it 2D, keeping it hand-drawn by actual people, I think is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the sort of criticisms of this rollout is, wait a minute, you're taking away the human being animator and you're replacing it with an audio animatronic. And I agree with you. I feel like, Olaf, I get maybe this connects. I think this connects to the short that they did, or like they did something not too long ago where Olaf was in an animator seat.
Right.
And I guess that's what they're pulling from. But I completely agree with you. Of all the characters to put in that seat,
You're like, okay,
we're putting the snowman,
right?
In that seat. Okay, yeah. Sure. But yeah, to lose sort of that human element is definitely something. And, Garrett and I were talking about this earlier in the week, just about losing that human element and robots taking over. And I said, did you know that, like, Living with the Land, that iconic boat attraction at Epcot, that used to have a human being, that used to have a human skipper, and Garrett had no idea.
No, I didn't know that someone would sit on the back and actually narrate it for you and actually take you on that journey, which sounds stellar, sounds amazing. I would love for that human element. Like, I really enjoyed when it was the Great Movie Ride. Like, you'd have that sort of the human and the actor element to that. I think it makes it amazing. Imagine the Jungle Cruise without a skipper. Oh, what a nightmare that would be, because you'd probably die. Beside the point, but you need that human element. That is what makes Disney unique, and that the cast members truly make the magic real. They bring it all to life, whether it's from someone sweeping up on the streets to operating an attraction. The cast member really makes the magic real. They bring it to life.
I agree.
Oh, geez, Stacy knows it.
She does. She understands completely. And Garen, what's old is new again with an attraction like this. Is this the right move, you think, for Hollywood Studios? You mentioned it was already kind of just a half-day park, and now 3/4 of a day park, I think were your words.
Yeah.
But for Hollywood Studios as a park, is this the right move? And what is the signal when it comes to, like, the Star Wars IP in the park? As this will no doubt evict that previous attraction.
Yeah. I think it is the perfect move for something like this because, this was an area before that you would have character meet and greets, and you'd also have the drawing class and little shops in there. And if you can pull crowds in other directions to bring down wait times, or just add, if you look at your brochure on things to do, if you can add things to that to get more value out of a day's ticket, then I think it's hands down absolutely worth it. Personally, I would have gone for Miko from Pocahontas. I'd rather have, a little trash panda raccoon drawing, not even speaking English, just making sounds or whatever, and eating cherries from Percy. Give me some Pocahontas magic in there. But Olaf is, I think, a great character. I know. Thank you, fans. I know. I crack myself up. My biggest question is, see, I'm making Taylor laugh. Either that's a sad laugh, or her life is really that boring that I can bring entertainment. But but I'm wondering how, if it's like Olaf is drawing himself, how is this possible? Because audio animatronics usually do pre-recorded things, and also how is he going to hold the stick? So I'm wondering, is it going to be some kind of backstage, there's some interface where an actual person can draw it and it moves Olaf's arm, because that's how they programmed the original AAs for the Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Wait, that's not the name of the ride. Yeah, no, it's not. The Carousel of Progress. My gosh. But that's how they originally programmed them, where they'd put an outfit on an actor and then he'd move it, and then the audio animatronic would copy that. So I'm wondering, is Olaf going to do that kind of thing or what? But if it's new innovative technology, I'm all for it. I just hope there is some kind of human element in there, because I like the little commentary that the animators would use, especially at DCA where they still do that. But I think this enhances the park. It brings value to it. It makes it, it talks about the Hollywood aspect of it, which, Disney was built on animation. We need to embrace it. And you look at the 90s, all hand drawn, animated. Lion King won Oscar. It won countless awards. Everything. Then you look at all the other ones like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. They won countless awards. So I'm all for it. Olaf's cool. And he loves warm hugs. I just wonder how many kids are going to rush the stage to try and touch him. And then it's gonna be broken, and then we add a human in there. So we'll put that's on the Kalshi app to see when that happens.
I'm gonna have to have those what they have in Animal Kingdom. They when you're out on the safari, they have those little wires,
the pits,
that keep
the pits and the wires.
And I think they'll have to do that for the children when they go in to learn how to draw with Olaf, so that they don't rush Olaf.
Right.
Get the little sparkly wires that keep people away. I wonder that too, Garrett. You draw a great point. Will they craft some sort of newfangled technology, or just have it be a very simple explanation as to how Olaf is in fact drawing this thing up there? Because you're right, he's got a little nub. That's all he has there on his body. How's he drawing this? Now in the image, you'll see that the concept art shows that's a human hand up there on the screen drawing. So is he just hosting it and they're having a video of a human animator drawing it? Is that how they're getting around this? I mean, maybe that's where it's going.
Is an animator teaching Olaf to draw, and then Olaf is interpreting it back to us?
Right.
It's a game of, telephone or something. Who knows? I do like Taylor's idea of having a character out there, but that based off of how you get characters and everything and all that goes into it, having someone that can perform as a character but also be able to draw are two different things.
Right.
I was good friends with Goofy, but yeah, Goofy can't draw. I'm sorry. He's not known for drawing. You saw his map on what he wanted to do with Max. It was all over the place. No real direction whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
We're gonna see how this plays out, but I'm anxious to see. I just hope that they keep the live, animation of it, and just it's not just all pre-recorded and everything. So just to keep that, like you said, like at DCA, they have the fun commentary that they do, and they make it fun, and they kind of just bring life into the drawing aspect of it. So I hope that they don't lose that with this one.
No kidding. I think that this whole building, which used to be dedicated to animation, and the hand-drawn work behind it, there used to be a tour that you could go on, and you used to be able to see animators in real time. In fact, this building was used for a functional purpose for many years in the 90s to create real motion pictures, real animated motion pictures. And Lilo and Stitch came out of here, for example. Like this facility is where all that came to life. And it used to be that you could go in and you could see animators by the dozens working feverishly and stuff like that. And that slowly faded away. This working studio concept slowly faded away from Hollywood studios. And so now to get any sort of animation back, number one, I think it's great, that we're harkening back to kind of what made us in terms of this park, but to sort of cannibalize what made us and put a face on it now that is robot and no longer the heart. We've already lost so much of hand-drawn animation, and now you're going to remove the human element from it. Again, we'll see. When it comes to how they do this show, like I said, there's a human hand in the concept art. So maybe it's just a video. Maybe there's going to be somebody there, but we will we'll anticipate the best. How about that? When it comes to Olaf being in there, no doubt he's going to draw a crowd. Everybody loves themselves a magical little buddy.
Yep.
But animation, bring it on. It's great to see that this will be back in action. And, it's also shutting down, unfortunately. I saw Disney Junior next door. But
I'm not really sad about that at all. Like I'm sorry. Give me Bluey any day of the week. Disney Junior is done. Bluey is the way of the future. And change is good. Change is always good, I think.
Change is good. And Richard has this question here. Will the Drawing Academy return to Rafiki's Planet Watch after the renovations?
Well, they're doing a refurb on Rafiki's Planet Watch and adding a Bluey element out there. So who knows?
Yeah, I hope so. Outside of, Bluey just being a standard meet and greet, I think this was something that really pulled people in.
Yeah.
People enjoyed it, to what you said, Garrett. They still had this going on over there, and people still really enjoy it. So hopefully they do keep it. Richard, nothing official on that yet. And then Tom saying it probably will be a previously recorded video with an animator speaking to Olaf. DCL uses a video now for their animation classes. Well, there we go.
And, it really stinks.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Well,
unfortunate.
Anticipate the best, hope for the best, and maybe they will over-deliver. Outside of this show, it looks like a more glorified character meet and greet, which is what it was originally, by the way. So outside of sort of the animation end of things, it became a more large-scale character meet and greet over the course of time. And so it looks like we're just getting back to that finally. So Disney Junior next door. In this image, you'll see it over here to the right of the Sorcerer's Hat. And then it sounds like Little Mermaid, the stage show that happens there on the left, that will remain open, which is good news. So
I still want it to go. I still want to go away. I'm sorry. I'm gonna play the role of the harsh critic today. Give me Aladdin. Come on, give me the Aladdin show. Thank you. I know. Know what? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to start a fight today. Well, This is family friendly for the most part. But I like Little Mermaid, but I've seen it with its animation on there. Some elements are cool, but others give me Aladdin. I've seen the best. Give me Aladdin from DCA because we know it's there. Just give it to us here. That's right, Raven. She got my back.
Raven seems to know every time you go in to make your heated points there, but I don't, this theater I don't think is really set up for an Aladdin type show in that grand scale.
It's not at all.
But I get it. You want that type of show. I completely understand. Yeah. I miss it too. That's for sure. Well, we move from the East Coast and we move to the West Coast at the Disneyland Resort, where park hopping restrictions are set to be dropped later this year, apparently. Garrett, fill us in. What do we got going on?
Yeah, so Disneyland is making several operational changes as it prepares for a major expansion with leaders aiming to keep visits simple and enjoyable, even as construction is going to be ramping up across the resort during its 70th anniversary. One of the biggest ones that just came out, Mike and Sully, not closing. They are staying open into 2027. And we'll just have to see where that goes. Other new extended timelines are coming forward, including Avengers Campus, the Coco themed attraction, and Pixar Pier, as well as Avatar, which was going to rip out Mike and Sully, but now we'll have to see where the world of Pandora will go. there's also going to be a new gateway on that side of the park. So yeah, this is all under the Disneyland Forever initiative, and it's curious to see what will happen. Park reservations are still required, though Disney acknowledges that the system can be frustrating for several people. And to support families, Disney's expanding its access to its lowest price one-day tier ticket, introducing limited time kids tickets, which is really cool. And younger guests will very soon get to experience Bluey over in Fantasyland. This news at Disneyland is shocking in how there was just so much thrown on all at once. Behind the scenes, Disney says it's investing heavily in ride maintenance to keep attractions running. During construction, engineers have expanded overnight maintenance and improved in parts management on popular rides like Radio Springs Racers. These improvements help generate 1.5 additional ride experiences this past year, which is great because the more attractions, the happier people are, the more they spend. It becomes the circle of financial life for Disney. In the past, Disney said that 13% of its rides were down because of guest behavior, such as loose articles. So keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, folks. Improving the guest experience, Disney is saying that they are investing in cast member training as the workforce continues to evolve. Many employees were hired after the pandemic, and you have to change and adapt with all that. I think some of the work ethic in recent years has changed. Disney's refocusing on its service and guest communication, emphasizing that even when problems happen, clear communication and strong service can make a lasting difference. It's always easier to turn a frown upside down than it is to have them frown and then kick them out the door and say, thank you very much, come back again real soon. So overall, Disneyland says these changes are designed to keep experiences running smoothly, as well as building for the future. So we will just have to keep everything going on as we see what is going on. But with park hopping restrictions, there's going to be some changes here and there, but overall, I think it's all for the best in the end. We'll just have to wait and see. It's like anything else at Disney. It's put out some concept and then see what happens in 3 months when they change it inevitably.
This is one of those that I think many would be celebrating, no doubt, to the idea that the park hopping time restriction that prevented people from jumping back and forth from park to park here at the Disneyland Resort finally set to go away. It's weird to me that he didn't commit to when specifically, just later this year, the president. So, all right, it's coming, I guess. At least the cat's out of the bag there. Walt Disney World dropping theirs several years ago. You could, and I get it. Disney World, their parks are miles away.
It was like 1 p.m. Yeah, it was like, it was like go to Epcot and then, hey, you can't go into Hollywood Studios even if you want to take a Skyliner until around like 1 p.m. It was super late, and this was horrible. It was bad.
Yeah.
I never understood it myself. Well, at Disneyland, I used to despise, that like it was the 11 a.m. crossover, and it changed multiple times over the course of several years. And I kept thinking, like, as soon as we got out of sort of the COVID era of things, I'm like, why is this still here? Like, I've been thinking about that ever since. Like, why what is this doing to prevent you from hopping across when you never had it before anyway?
Right.
And it was designed specifically for that purpose, they said, to prevent overcrowding in the parks, because they were worried. So as COVID dissipated and became less of a threat, they started to relax all these other things, and then this policy just kind of stuck, and stayed for a while. But Taylor, the park hopping timing rule will soon be thrown out at the Disneyland Resort. How has it impacted your previous visits? Because I know you're there quite a bit, and can you think of any reason why it may have been a good policy to have?
I feel like it was a good policy to have because it kind of, I guess, leveled out crowds in certain areas. So if you were going to DCA, starting your day there, you would only have like a limited amount of people until 11 o'clock. So you were able to, I feel, knock out a few more rides. The same thing with Disney, Disneyland, and you started out there, you could probably have half the people that you normally would throughout the rest of the day at the park with you. So you had more time to actually knock out rides and enjoy a less crowded park. So I feel like taking it away, it's definitely going to probably make it a little more crowded in the mornings as if it wasn't normally. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. Because I always, when I was at the park, I would always say, "Oh, it's 11 o'clock. We can run over to DCA and go grab a drink and go do this or that." So it's kind of nice that you don't have to plan out that to like, oh, we can be at Disneyland till 11 o'clock and then go over to the other park. Now you can go whenever you want. So I think it's a nice change. It's definitely long overdue. Definitely. So it's going to be different the next time that I go to Disney. I'm like, oh, well, now we can just go to the park whenever we want. Just hop, hop, hop. So I'm actually pretty excited, but it's going to be a different, I feel like, for crowd control for sure. But definitely, since they're keeping the reservation system, I think it's going to help mitigate the crowd because you'll still have to choose between starting at Disneyland and starting at California Adventure. So I think that will definitely help if they keep that in motion for a little bit longer.
It will be a great relief to not have to constantly watch the clock. And, when they did move it up to 11, I remember thinking, okay, so what is this? Like, what are we doing anymore? Why?
Yeah.
Like, it's so early. 11 o'clock is so early, by compare. So why does this even exist still? It was just so silly to me.
Exactly.
So glad to see that they're finally revisiting this. I was kind of worried that they forgot about it, like that this
Same.
wasn't something they were ever going to revisit and they were just going to leave it into effect, right? So
They're like, oh, everyone's happy. No one, just keep it. It's fine.
we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Park hopping restrictions. Everybody's just now putting up with it. It's fine. Let it go. Well, let it be.
All good.
Well, Garrett, with a move like this, dropping park hopper threshold times, how likely is it that we will see park reservations eventually retired too?
I would love for that to come true. I would love for the reservations to go away because, you make a reservation and then, you go to the park and like say someone in your party last second or you had an additional add-on, they can't do it. So they have to wait for the park hop time. But it's like, there's no one here. What, because people will forget their passes or they'll forget that they made a reservation I just think during peak season, I think it works. I think this is more efficient at Disney World where you have 4 parks trying to manage versus 2 that are 300 feet apart. I would rather them just get rid of it altogether. I think it adds a headache to it. It makes things more complicated. It's an extra step that you don't need to do. Also, if you're on the app and you want to make a reservation, you then have to go to the website. You can't even do it on the app. So that to me is just a real missed opportunity in general. So I hope that from them seeing how park hopping now makes things easier hopefully it makes everything better. But get rid of the reservations, and that's all there is to it. During peak season, it's going to be crazy. Both parks are going to get maxed out on Christmas or New Year's and all that stuff. I really don't think reservations are needed outside of the big major holidays where it's like, hey, 4th of July, Christmas, maybe around spring break and a few other like special days like Labor Day weekend. But let's get rid of the reservations. There's no reservations on fun. Yeah, fun's unlimited. Disney World, I can kind of roll with that a little bit more just because Magic Kingdom's a beast. I remember it's Christmas Day seeing a line that's 3 miles long just to get to parking. On there, it could be utilized, but Disneyland it's not quite as mighty of a task to get in there. Like you can fit people in there. LA's already crowded. Doesn't make a difference.
You got that right. Way too crowded. And I know that the reservation process, when it came about, obviously introduced because of the pandemic concept, right? And we want to make sure that we're being safe about all this. Great. And I think we all sort of nodded our heads and that makes sense.
Yep.
But now we're at a point where, okay, much like the ridiculous park hopping time, do we need these things anymore? Do we really need these things? Now, I know from a park operations leadership perspective and planning perspective, everybody always wanted reservations. They wanted that concept, right? They always wanted something like this to exist because it helps greatly plan and really allowed for Disney to make all the best choices and to minimize costs more than anything. And I think that's why it remains and will continue to stick around for a very long time. Now I know that Walt Disney World, right? They've gone the route where their annual pass holders don't necessarily have to make reservations as much anymore. They have some days that are like
Yeah.
all what I don't know what they refer to.
It's during the peak season, like Christmas, New Year's, is 4th of July. Around those times, you do need one, but other than that, it's sort of, hey, you're good to go. Don't worry about it. It's
free for all. Yeah.
They should have that here at, like you said, like they should have that out here at Disneyland, because I mean, it gets crowded, and we've all seen it during the like crazy holidays where it gets busy and you can't move, and that's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to deal with that. But I think that having restrictions on when you can go to the park and have happiness, like they should definitely get rid of that. I'm excited for that to happen, to be honest, because I hate it when you see blackout dates and stuff. And even if you have like the highest pass, you still have blackout dates. And I'm like, I think everybody should be able to go. But if you have, holidays, then yes, reservation should be required.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that holiday period where you have to shut gates traditionally, right, to manage the flow. I guess reservations make a little bit more sense. But, between January and mid-March every year, you really need reservations at all. I mean, it's just gotten to that point where let's drop them in the times that we don't necessarily need them. And Lori Carlson saying, Josh Tomorrow being CEO is the best. Well, he hasn't officially started yet. We still got a few days. He starts next month. So in terms of the news, Lori, I agree. I think we're all hopeful for maybe a new direction and new inspiration and new motivation, and maybe he will take us to a new frontier.
Yes.
But it's yet to be seen. So we'll cross our fingers and hope that he will get us there. We move along from the park hopping restrictions being dropped later this year at Disneyland to news back out east. We covered a story for you last week where we were talking about a report that came out where essentially Villains Land had been brought to a screeching halt at Magic Kingdom in terms of development and progress and creation, mainly because the report said that Josh Tomorrow wanted Imagineering to think bigger and bolder. He wanted this to clearly be his legacy, and so he told these creatives, you go back and you come up with something even better. Well, now the Wrap had a different report, sort of on the heels of that, or maybe a progression of that report, that talks about how it's not going to necessarily be more evil and sinister. It's going the direction of being a little bit more pleasant with the villains. Do I have that right, Garrett?
Yeah, you're on the right path. It was when we originally thought it was going to be a sinister, dark, sort of aspect. Now it's still going in the route of being bigger and bolder, but it's something more ambitious and also slightly tweaked. So there's some new rumored attractions and experiences that are coming, and one of those is to the Emperor's New Groove. And you think of the iconic scene between Yzma and Kronk, where it's like, pull the lever, Kronk, and they go on this wild roller coaster ride and everything. And if they bring that, I don't know how the safety regulations are going to be, because that ride doesn't even have tracks. But it's going to be exciting, to say the least. And if there's an audio animatronic Kronk and we also get Patrick Warburton to do a voiceover, then I'm all for it. I want him to do this. I want him to also do the safety spiel in Spanish if he can, because I feel like that'd be fantastic.
Hello,
but along with that,
and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Transportation System.
Right, welcome aboard. Another major attraction. So in the concept art, we've seen the Maleficent Dragon, but now we're seeing that it might be a boat ride using the same technology as Shanghai Disneyland's Pirates attraction, where you can move up, down, left, right, and spin, which would be huge. I don't know how that works, because when I think of Maleficent, I don't think of a water attraction. But hey, who am I to judge? If we get another indoor attraction that can blow, if it can blow us out of the water without literally blowing us up, then I'm all for it. There's also the rumors of a show being hosted by Hades, everyone's favorite, Greek god. Full dinner experience being something amazing. And then there's also rumors of an attraction being themed to Ursula. I've heard everything from like it's gonna be wild, like when she's a giant, to just being her holding up tentacles on like a Dumbo type attraction. I really hope it's not that one. But as D23 gets closer, we will hear more rumors until it is all finally put to rest and we are shown what's going to be. But Villains Land is going to be exciting. It's going to be mysterious. And yeah, the construction and permits are getting approved and moved along. We keep seeing teases, but nothing is official until Disney, drops that. So we will have to wait and see. But until that time, it looks like Villains Land will be fun. It'll be engaging, just not as dark and as sinister as, say, Dark Universe over on Universal's Epic Universe.
And I know last week we were kind of assuming that was the direction it was going, more evil, more sinister.
I was hoping for that route. I wanted it to go that route.
Felt like when you hear bigger and bolder, I think we all just sort of naturally assumed that was what they meant, not necessarily the opposite direction of like, oh, the funny, silly villains, the much more lovable villains. Oh yeah, well, let's lean into kind of the brighter side of being villains. And I'm like, it's the contrast at Magic Kingdom that I think is needed there, and especially since we've seen it in other theme parks and stuff like that. But Taylor, your thoughts on an Emperor's New Groove coaster, a Hades restaurant, and a Maleficent boat ride potential at Magic Kingdom?
Like, I think I can speak for all millennials when we say this. It's about time that this is happening for Emperor's New Groove coaster. I mean, whenever I watch that movie, I'm like, why can't they make that ride? Like, that is so cool. So I'm happy that they're actually talking about doing it. I did read that it would be more of like a slinky dog sort of aspect of a roller coaster rather than like a high speed roller coaster. Kind of bummed me out a little bit because I was like, well, in the movie, it's more high speed, twists, turns, you name it. But I'm very excited to have something like that actually exist. I would be first in line to go ride it. Even if it's a 3-hour line, I would be there. And for the Hades restaurant, honestly, what a great idea. Hades is such a stand-up guy, and he has those funny moments that I feel like it would just be a fun interactive dinner, a fun interactive experience to be a part of. And you just can imagine like what he'll say to you while you're probably, eating pasta or something, or just doing something, normal, and just have him coming after you. I think that is a great idea. And the Maleficent boat ride, or just having a boat ride in general, it's exciting. But again, I was hoping for the more sinister part of the villains, showing their side of everything, showing why they became villains, just having their world come alive. I just feel like them going the family friendly route, which is great. I think that it kind of loses the feeling of the villains themselves. So, but I'm excited. I'm very hopeful that this is going to be an amazing land and everything that they've got going in it. I can't wait because I love the villains. So just to have any kind of love for them is great.
And we were saying last week, I think I was asking Tyler, like, how important is it that they nail this land? And I think there's so much emphasis on making a villain's land that just blows people out of the water, that this sets a new standard, because we've always, as Disney fans, wanted a villain's land. We've always wanted a villain's mecca.
Absolutely.
And it's finally happening. So very, very interesting to me that they are now leaning more so in the direction of, hey, let's make it more light and fun rather than dark and sinister. Garrett, the original concept art for Villain's Land had it looking incredibly grim. I think that's why we all thought it was going that direction. Obviously, a stark contrast to the rest of Magic Kingdom, as I was saying a bit earlier. Do you think it's a smart idea to pull away from that type of mindset and instead lean into the brighter side of the Villains franchise? You think there's more marketability there? You think maybe it could work better?
Going the family-friendly route is obviously safer. I don't know if it's smarter, because this was, to me, Magic Kingdom for us childless millennials, or even if you're just older, or even if you're like an older teen and you want to see that sort of darker side of Disney, you kind of wanted that dark sort of element to it. You wanted it a little, like, you don't need to be scared, but you want to just see like, oh, Disney can get dark, and Disney has gotten dark. We've seen it before. Madame Medusa, the Horned King, even like you look at Captain Hook in varying degrees. Like, people like the villains because they have two sides to them. They can be this dark, evil, menacing force, but they also have this charm and elegant and suave demeanor about them, where you can kind of understand a little bit why they're doing things. With Maleficent, she's one of the most understanding, especially with the live action adaptation, where it's like, oh, she got tricked, betrayed, like, go get your revenge, girl. Claps on all that stuff. So I hope that they will not completely pull back from the dark and sinister. You can have multiple sides of evil and villainy. Some would say, like some like Barbossa, he's bad, but you also really like Barbossa because he's charming and all that stuff. Davy Jones, he is sinister and mean, but he also has that lighter side to him where you can understand why he does. And that's what you really need to pick up on with a land like this, because this, like, Magic Kingdom's still going to be successful, but you want this new, especially with the new CEO coming in, you want to be able to control and also set up a great foundation for what your legacy will be built on. And I just hope we go that darker route, like add Yzma in there. I think we can have that fun, but we also need that dark as well. Like I was hoping that for Maleficent, it would be a dark coaster, explode, like, real crazy fire around everything. I can see Ursula as the water ride, honestly, but I'm not in the, chair, but Hades getting a show. I think that's perfect. You can have, the fun, you can have the, the comedy, but you can also have the sinister, evil part of it. Like, it's all about having that perfect balance. Like Magic Kingdom, like even in their fireworks show, it starts off, lighthearted, and then it just gets dark where it's like, Dad, with Simba calling out, and then it's like that hopeful return. It's you can have everything. I said, don't go soft, but don't go too soft. You want to keep it what it's going to be, which is this was going to be the land for the adults in Magic Kingdom.
I kind of thought the same thing was going to happen. Yeah, absolutely. And Taylor, back to what you were talking about, it'd be really cool to see. I think that the idea is for a Hades restaurant is brilliant. Yeah. Like a Hades dinner show. I think it's very creative. Dining in the underworld.
Right.
We knew that's what we needed in our lives, right? But it does sound like a blast. And I think there are a lot of redeeming qualities, and especially in humor when it comes to many of these villains. But the more sinister among us, like a Maleficent, hopefully a boat ride like that will be much more intense. Hopefully they will create something that really does sort of cater to her evil nature, her sinister likability, so that we still get that rub. But now I'm worried about sort of the concept art we had originally witnessed as being something that is getting maybe thrown out here with this direction and leaning now, a completely sort of new course as we move along. So I don't want the epic nature of this land's original concept art to disappear because it looked amazing.
It did.
Right? I don't want to see that go, but the millennial part of me, to your point, Taylor, is but I also want to see Kronk and Yzma
of course.
and this attraction and this coaster. Like, this is brilliant. Right?
Can we get a villain's park? Can we have a villain's park where the icon is like Maleficent's castle with an elephant graveyard? Because that's what I wanted. For the water ride, the one thing I was thinking that could actually make it really work is, can they set the water on fire like they do for Fantasmic? That dragon's gone. Maybe they're doing it in a new way. Nothing says guest safety like the water being on fire in front of the guests. That sounds cool. Let's do it. I feel like that could work, honestly.
It could work.
I would be like maybe a certain distance, but I want to feel that heat. If Universal can set a windmill on fire, Disney can set water on fire. It goes against the laws of physics.
That Disney magic.
Yeah. Absolutely. Feel that heat, but you got to keep the evil where it belongs.
Stay right there, you little nasty.
You got to make sure of it. I know that all of these characters are definitely ones that deserve their time in the sun. They deserve a spotlight, but to do it at the expense of the sinister and evil nature that we thought the land was going, I don't know that I'm thrilled about that. So if they can balance it, if they can have like the really dark evil side of the land, maybe that's a direction they go. They have a really dark side of the land, and then they have a more family friendly, humorous evil, humorous villain side of the land. That could work too. So, you kind of like cater to both sides. But I'm always reminded when I hear new land, I always think, oh man, there's going to be so much to do. And then I recognize like, oh, wait a minute. There's usually only between 2 and 3 attractions. You usually get a store and a restaurant. Now, that's a lot more than we have now. But it's one of those things where I think like villains deserve so much more. Give them more. Give them more. Like they deserve more
park,
space.
like Jared said, whole park.
Taylor, who's your Disney villain? Who's your favorite?
Ooh, That's a tough one. I love Madame Mim. She's like one of my favorites.
Oh, she's classic, and
She's
yeah, you got
classic.
the magic battle.
Exactly. I just love her. But I mean, I love Prince John, Madame Medusa, some of the ones that you really don't see a lot of. But like if there were like class or like the mainstream ones, I would have to say Maleficent is probably a top one, or Captain Hook. Because those two are just fantastic. I mean, all the villains are great, but I'm one of those that I tend to go toward the ones that you don't really see a lot of. So in a lot of my artwork, I do like a lot of, like Sword in the Stone or The Rescuers. I try to do things that people don't see much because they don't get that much love, and I think that they deserve it. But what's your favorite villain?
He's not you look at all the merch, Gaston's never in the villain's merch. He's not seen as like a true villain, which I'm like, no way. That's because he's the hero of the story, obviously. Like, it's Beauty and the Beast. He's a beautiful beast of a guy and all that stuff. Like, Hook is pretty solid, mainly because I got to be friends with him. He was the one villain I did get to be friends with. But like Scar, he's just charming. He's got a baller song, and he, like, I don't know, it's just like Scar's pretty solid. I'll give it to Scar just from like, but the original version where he had the like, oh, I'm surrounded by idiots, starts with him just pouncing on the mouse, and like you just see from the get-go he's not part of that circle of life. It's a pyramid of life, and he's at the top of it. So exactly. Scar's pretty solid. Give me an audio animatronic Scar judging me while I eat food. I'll hang with that.
Richard saying, are we losing Chernabog and real scares to Descendants? I was hoping for a bigger than life Chernabog animatronic.
That's a hot. Give me Night on Bald Mountain. I will. That's the Kingdom Hearts player in me, because I remember playing that mission and I was like freaking out, and it's like, give me a 50-foot mountain and a demon guy popping up and skeletons rising up. I want that darkness. I don't know what's in that budget.
There better be a Chernabog.
That would be cool.
That would be nice to see. And D saying, I think they should add a dark ride to Villains Land. A coaster would be the wrong way to go. Well, it sounds like they're going to have a coaster, a boat ride, and then maybe Ursula will be like a spinner type attraction. Which, do we really need more spinners, for goodness sakes, in Magic Kingdom? You already have so many. It seems unnecessary. If you're going to go all in on this, go all in on this. Give them something epic that they deserve, right? So, I think you're right, Garrett. Ursula probably deserves a boat ride more than Maleficent.
Yeah.
She does. Her story does take place, in the ocean.
Oh, that's right. Good point. Yeah.
She's got tentacles. I've yet to see a dog with tentacles on land. All that stuff, unless it's a really weird Pomeranian.
Unless that. Right, absolutely. Well, rough to see that we are now leaning a completely different direction when it comes to Villains Land. Maybe some people are going to enjoy this more. I just hope that they strike a balance more than anything. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I want most of all. And you let us know in the comments. Are you somebody who was holding on to this idea of more sinister, more evil, more awful? Or are you somebody who was like, man, I just need me a little bit of fun villains. I just need me a little bit of silliness. That's what I need. If you're one of those individuals, please let us know also. I think we'd all be very interested in hearing from you. But, ladies and gentlemen, we need to move along now, because I hear in the distance something coming. Maybe you can hear it too. I don't know. But is it the... That's right, it's the horns, it's the drums. I do believe it's time for the Disney Trivia Minute. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Disney Trivia Minute time. This is, of course, where we test our team on some of the, well, I guess throwback questions when it comes to the Walt Disney Company. Some they might claim are difficult, some are not necessarily that, but they are no doubt studious in their attempts to answer these questions. Our team is here this week in the place of Tyler Crouch and Katrina Manzoni is Taylor Kowalczyk, and alongside her, of course, the lovely one, Golden Goose Garrett Hassel. There he is. Now, Garrett's track record this year has not been all that hot. We see it there in his graphic. 2 to 7 correct trivia answers. 2 out of 7, rather, correct trivia answers. So,
Yep.
we wish you all the best.
Thank you. I really can't, like, week 1, rock solid, 2 out of 2, and then it's just been 5 consecutive losses.
He does his best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he throws his all behind his answers for these. And this question takes us to Disneyland Park. Now, the question is, what was the first single attraction to cost more than the original entire Disneyland Park? Was it A, Star Tours, B, Pirates of the Caribbean, or C, Space Mountain? Taylor, what single attraction cost more than the entire park to open?
That's a tough one. I'm trying to think of like animatronics, certain graphics and things. I feel like I'm gonna go with A, Star Tours.
Star Tours, all right, locking it in. So we've got Star Tours on the board for Taylor now. So Garrett, what was the first single attraction to cost more than the original Disneyland Park? Was it Star Tours, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Space Mountain?
Can I 50-50 this, Regis?
I wish that was an option. But
Can we take an audience poll?
You want to take?
We have lifelines here. Sure.
Oh my gosh! But the audience doesn't want to help you.
Yeah, I can't see the comments right now on my screen, so that's not really helping me. So Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm saying that one's not it, just because that was still around when Walt was there, and I feel like it would have made a bigger deal because Walt had no problem spending money, but I don't think it was worth more than the original park. I was going to go Star Tours, but just for the sake of me trying to see what happens, Space Mountain sounds great. They literally had to go to outer space for an attraction. It's hard for us to do that right now. So clearly that's got to be it because, you built a mountain. You're then also going to build a pizza planet and all that stuff. So Space Mountain is the route I'm going, which is the superior version compared to Disney World's, in my opinion, because one, it does not hurt your back as much, and two, it also has gotten the Red Hot Chili Peppers overlay, Ghost Galaxy overlay, and Star Wars overlay. So yeah, Space Mountain, lock it in. Let's do it. Can't wait to get this wrong.
Space Mountain it is. Interesting to me that 2 of the 3 of these happen to deal with space.
That's true.
Right? Space travel is expensive.
Space is the final frontier. To boldly go.
Where no man's gone before.
And now we're sued.
That's what we've learned here.
Good job, Taylor.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Nicely done. So both space answers are on the board now. Nobody selected Pirates of the Caribbean, which is good news because Pirates of the Caribbean was not the most expensive attraction.
Good job.
So bravo to the 2 of you.
I feel like that's like a point 125 correct answers my way because I narrowed it down.
Taylor, you said Star Tours, which is, in fact, not the answer.
Oh,
I got one right.
Therefore, Garrett, Space Mountain did cost more than the entirety of Disneyland Park to open, which means you are back on the board. So.
Oh.
nice.
Thank you, Taylor. Come on the show more times. I seem to get answers right when you're around. And updated.
That's right.
Congratulations to you, my friend. He's finally back in action. Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and from there we move along to our next Disney Trivia Minute question. On this day in 1997, ABC TV aired Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary party. Who was it hosted by? It was a duo. Was it A, Bob Saget and Caroline Rhea, B, Melissa Joan Hart and Will Friedle, or C, Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey? This was 1997. On this very day, they aired this special for Disney World's 25th anniversary. This duo were hosting it. So, who was it? These are all very 90s, these names, right? All of these
Our faces say so much where we're like, who's Will Friedle? Who's Will Friedle?
From Boy Meets World. He's the older brother.
Okay. Okay, and then who's Melissa Joan Hart?
Wow.
I know the other ones. I don't know who.
Are you familiar
I'm
with
sure,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Yeah, is it her mom?
No, that's
No,
Sabrina.
she played Sabrina.
her mom?
Well, I know her mom played the mom in My Mom's on a Date with a Vampire or whatever. So, but that doesn't help here. I know random facts that have nothing to do with the question.
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing that one. Was that Caroline Ray? Because she's the aunt in Sabrina.
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, it was Caroline Ray.
Okay. Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Hey, see, I'm already helping out in no way whatsoever.
Yeah. So Taylor, who hosted this 1997 ABC TV special for Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary, was it Bob Saget and Caroline Ray, Melissa Joan Hart and Will Friedle, or Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey?
This is a very tough. I thought the last question was tough. This one is hard. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because in the 90s I'm like, oh, Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey, because I watched the Drew Carey show and things. But I was thinking of when Tarzan came out, but Tarzan came out in 1999. So I'm like, I feel like I want to go with C, but something tells me it's A. Ugh. I'll go with C. That was my first choice. So I'll probably be wrong, but I'm going to go, yes, C, Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey.
Rosie and Drew Carey, both sort of signature figures of the 90s. It felt like both had completely different lives in the 90s too. They're completely different people now. It's fascinating to see. And so they were often turned to by Disney and ABC for a lot of things. In fact, there's a lot of 90s remnants of both of these individuals in Disney parks over the years. So that is an educated guess there. So locking in C, Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey. Now, Garrett, ABC, they aired this 25th anniversary special in 1997. Who ended up hosting it? Bob Saget and Caroline Ray, Melissa Joan Hart and Will Friedle, or Rosie O'Donnell and Drew Carey?
See, I feel like Saget, due to contractual obligations, he would not be able to do something like this. I have no idea why. But I'm gonna go with B, just because I'm it's the 25th. They want to keep it young, keep it fun. We'll do Melissa. We'll do Will. Now that I know who they are, all that. Maybe Mr. Feeney showed up. You never know. But I'll go with B, just because maybe they wanted to go really young and youthful, keep it hip, especially Boy Meets World. It's doing pretty good at that time.
I feel like you probably are right.
So
I don't
locking in B.
Don't ever put faith in me in trivia.
I got it.
This is more luck than anything.
So Garrett's going with B, Taylor is going with C, and that means that A, Bob Saget and Caroline Ray was not selected for the Walt Disney World's 25th anniversary party. So did they host it or didn't they? The good news is that Bob Saget and Caroline Ray did not host this special, which means once
High
again,
Nice.
once again, one of the two of you have this correct.
Okay.
So, Taylor,
That's not me.
oh my God, way to have faith in yourself. Taylor, you conditioned
be
yourself
positive
to believe that Rosie and Drew were probably the hosts of this because, right, they were very involved in a lot of things with Disney in the 90s, and it just makes sense. And that's why I'm thrilled to tell you that you are
Wrong.
not the winner, which means Garrett has done it again.
I gotta come on the show more, Garrett.
Oh, Tyler Katrina never coming back. We've got our they're never coming back because I get questions right. Hold on, let me do this. 4 out of 9. My gosh. I went from being benched to second string.
I'm glad to
How
help.
does it feel?
I imagine this is what it feels like when you walk into the park and there's only an hour-long wait on Radio Springs Racers and not 2 hours. You're like, man, that sucks, but it's slightly satisfying.
Life is so much better when you only have to wait an hour. I completely agree. So congratulations, my friend. Huge win. Taylor, thanks for trying.
I'm here to help.
And you helped him.
I did.
You did. Tyler and Katrina not here to see this, unfortunately, out on their anniversary weekend. And maybe that's the secret sauce, Garrett. Maybe the Because if I recall correctly, the last time you won both back to back was when Tyler wasn't here, right? So
Yeah,
maybe.
we only can have one other person on the show at a time. That's
Mm-hmm.
just how it's going to be. When we renew my contract, I want to put some stipulations in there. I want like red M&Ms in a bowl, and I only want one co-host so I can win trivia.
And you don't want an M on those M&Ms, you want a G.
Yeah.
No, I want a W.
Oh,
You just flip
winner?
them upside down.
got it.
Bingo.
That's really smart. Excellent. Well, we are going to be diving in to how to save, how to do Disneyland on a budget. That is next here on Kingdom Report Live. Stick with us. You know, Walt Disney, he is seen as sort of this mythical creature nowadays, this magical man that could do no wrong. And yet, he spent most of his life steeped in failure. From heartache to betrayal to death and even a breakdown of his own. It's often said that artists are tortured souls, and I think it's safe to say that Walt Disney was a tortured soul by his own standards most of his life. Walt Disney had to do some of the hardest things any person can do, and that is convince others of unimaginable dreams he had solely in his head. And oftentimes he had to stand alone in his own visions to make them happen. He was surrounded by family, he was surrounded by fawning fans in the public wherever he went, and yet so often he had to stand alone in his decisions and his choices. Only he understood what it was he was trying to do. He's more like you and me than I think a lot of us assume. Stand Alone, The Walt Disney Way. 10 Lessons for Harnessing Your Own Magic. A new book by me, Wade Heath. Available at Amazon or wherever books are sold. Be inspired by Walt Disney all over again. Time for the Disney List, where we take a look at some of the best and maybe not so great things about the Walt Disney Company. This week, joined alongside my friends, Taylor Kowalczyk and Garrett Hassel, to discuss the best ways to save on a trip to the happiest place on earth. And we know it's more expensive than ever when it comes to taking trips to Disney parks. You are going to be paying out the nose for things. It's just become a way of life, unfortunately. But we are here to provide some of the ways in which we save when we go to the Disney parks, in particular, Disneyland. Some of the ways in which you can end up saving on your next trip. Taylor, what sort of tips would you have for people when it comes to saving some money, budgeting right when going to the happiest place on earth?
It's tough. I mean, I try to keep an amount of what I can spend at Disney. But I try to be very careful with what snacks I get. Like, of course, I need to have popcorn every time that I go. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can put, now I think it's $6 for a thing of popcorn. But I sometimes I pack waters. I always have a backpack full of waters, so I don't have to pay like $6 for a water bottle at Disney. Also, they do have refillable water stations all throughout Disneyland, so you can bring a water canteen and always fill up your water wherever you go. So that saves you money right there. But definitely, if you have an annual pass, that helps save money as well. You treat yourself for sure. If you see something that you really want, and a souvenir or anything like that, using your annual pass helps you get a huge discount. So that saves money. But it is tough to go to Disney on a budget, but it is not impossible, I would say. So anything you can treat yourself basically when you're at Disney. That's what I say.
Do it. Treat yourself. Get those Mickey ears. Get the collectible
popcorn buckets.
Water bottle, popcorn buckets. Get yourself the Spirit jerseys, right?
Yep.
Blow it out of the water. But I know that a lot of people nowadays are like, you know what? It cost me a fortune just to get there. How on earth do I get through a day without breaking the bank? Which I think is why this question is so important nowadays. It's the same for No doubt Walt Disney World. That's why I said Disney parks are so dang expensive anymore. Garrett, you have spent many a days on both coasts, many a days in these parks. When you come out to Disneyland yourself, how do you go about saving money? What do you do specifically?
I hop the fence and I run as fast as I can. Like
save
plain,
it.
plain and simple. You hop that fence, you run, and you're gonna ride that puppy either to jail or to Autopia. Oh, and there was an appearance by my wife right there.
Yay.
There she goes.
Yeah. One thing is marry someone who's going to be a doctor so they can pay for everything for you. Right now, we're hemorrhaging debt, but one day.
Oh.
She said, "Wow." No, I would. First thing I would do.
Ride that
Face.
puppy.
There she is again. She just keeps appearing like magic and everything like that.
Like magic.
I would say bringing like water bottle. That's a huge thing for me. I refuse to drink Dasani at any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter. I will drink Florida's nasty water or California with its lack of water. Bring a water bottle, use around. If someone tries to mug you, it also doubles as a weapon that Disney won't take away from you. I would say if you have any Disney discounts, whether you are annual pass, DVC, or if you have a Disney Visa, I believe that gets you discounts maybe. But utilize those. One that might save you some money would be don't park hop. If you can avoid to park hop and just stay in one, like especially Disneyland, where you can spend a day alone at Disneyland or a day alone at DCA, do that. It will save you some money in the long run. Also, if you are going during non-peak season, you don't necessarily need to use a lightning lane if waiting in lines works as well. Just because, like, if it's a 10-minute wait, don't, or 30 minutes. I think if it's 45 or less, I'll wait in that line. I do not need a lightning lane to get me ahead, especially now in this, hey, if you want to do something, you have to pay to skip the line. Just wait in that line, wait for there to be a parade or some other kind of show or spectacle. So that way you can just save money that way by one less purchase and everything. But yeah, with Disney, it really is hard to sort of save money. You are bring snacks in. If you have the means or if you have a backpack, bring snacks in. Do not bring an open flame grill. I've seen that at too many times where you see people getting into a fight with like, how are we supposed to cook our food? It's like, you're not supposed to cook food with an open flame barbecue here. Like, use a George Foreman or something, but don't use open flame. But yeah, bring snacks, bring a water bottle. Don't, if you can avoid paying the park hopping fee, it will save you some money. And then lastly, just try to, not do a lightning lane if it helps. A lot of the attractions at Disneyland don't require it. Whether it's the attractions in Fantasyland or just some of the smaller ones, I don't think you honestly need one ever for Pirates, just because that line goes through so fast. And if not, just wait a little bit, it will go down. But you just have to think smart, and you'll be able to save a few bucks here and there, or sacrifice one of your children to the small world gods, and you will get $100 off your next ticket purchase.
Do a little sacrificing. Sometimes, that's all it takes to get a discount.
Mm-hmm.
If it worked in the Mayan culture, it can work in the Disney culture. Please don't take me seriously about the sacrificing thing, folks. Disney frowns on sacrifices in their parks. Oh man, this has been a fun show.
Oh, this has been fun.
I'm still riding that trivia high right now. Like,
you should be.
I am. Like, I feel like I feel like a king right now.
My goodness.
King Joffrey. He has such a great.
Oh no.
King Joffrey. He's such a great story. Such a uplifting person.
Very, very inspiring for somebody like you, I suppose. But here's the thing. I don't remember the last time I bought a lightning lane at Disneyland. As often as I am there, I never put money down on it, and it's mainly because I feel like the attractions move fast enough for me, and I don't necessarily want to spend some cash on that. Taylor, I know you're there quite often too. Do you ever buy the lightning lane?
Honestly, I think the last time I did, I was with a group of like 5 people, and they didn't have, like, don't go as much as I do, so they wanted to go on certain rides, so we kind of splurged a little bit. But that was I hardly do because when we go, we try to do the rides that we want to do, and like Garrett said, if it's a 45-minute wait, I'm fine with waiting, and especially too the prices of Lightning Lane have just skyrocketed, and it is ridiculous for just I think it's like $40 for the day or something like that, and sometimes you may not get the ride that you want, or you have to wait a certain amount of time. I definitely miss the Lightning Lane tickets when you could just go up to the rides and grab a ticket and come back at your time. But
Fast Pass, the golden
Fast
era
Pass,
of Fast Pass.
thank
Oh,
you.
so
Fast
and even the Max Pass, like the $10 Max Pass, that was to me a work of art. Where it's like boom, 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 like, and it was only $10, and you also got the photo downloads. It was perfect.
It was worth it. Yeah.
And then society crumbled.
Want to make money? Yep. Any way they can. I mean, it still is fun. But no, I haven't. I'd say probably in the last 5 months, I have not bought into the Fast Lane Pass. So I just go whenever we can on any ride that we see that has a short wait. And we're just like, yay, we're going on this ride. So we wing it.
you play it by ear based on what's. I feel like I do the same thing mainly because I'm like, well, I bounce around enough. Eventually, I'll come across, and I always look at the app and see like, okay, what doesn't have a wait right now? I'll go there.
Right.
Yeah. I'll just play it like that. And I think you can do that at a place like Disneyland, whereas Walt Disney World is so spread out. There's so much room in their parks that it takes a long time to go from one side of Magic Kingdom to the other. So trying to jump around like that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense there because you're wasting a ton of time just trying to get places. And that eats in, to your overall experience, certainly. And I know that Lori Carlson saying you should treat yourself to ice cream always.
That's a good
at Disneyland.
Treat yourself. Tyler and Katrina would say, "Don't get the churros." I say, "Get the churros."
Yes.
You don't need the add-ons, but just get the standard churro. The churro will make you happy, and Disneyland churros are way better than Disney World churros. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's California sunshine, but I personally think the food at Disneyland is almost always better than Disney World's equivalent, except for Satuli Canteen. That's in its own sort of category.
That is pretty spectacular, Satuli Canteen. But churros. If that's something you're going out of your way for, Garrett, then I hope you budget appropriately.
So I think it's like $7 or something like that, or $6.49.
It's like $6.50 now for a churro.
$22.90, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Budget that $6 just for that churro. Yep.
Oh yeah, you can all. I was gonna do as a joke, be like, listen, if you're really that hungry, just look for people when they get up to walk away and they leave their food on the table. Just take scraps. People may say that is undignified or that's gross. I'm saying like, listen, I have to hit my calorie minimum to maintain this and everything, and whether that's a half-eaten salad or it's just the crumbs off of a turkey leg, you do what you got to do. Like if it's good enough for, no, don't do that, people.
Stay right there, you little nasty.
Oh,
that's right. A little nasty right here.
Little nasty.
Nickname all through college.
The nasty goose.
That's what they call them. That's right. Richard saying, not popular, but do park hopper tickets make sense if you are trying to save money? Do one park per day in Disneyland 2 days if you have the time. I completely agree with this. As to what Garrett was talking about too, is the idea of one park per day. I think gives you. I think it causes you to slow down. I've never been committed to the idea of park hopping if you're here on a vacation. Now, as a local who drops in for some time, I like jumping around, and certainly it's a lot easier to park hop at a place like Disneyland. And you're able to just walk across the Esplanade and you're in the other park versus Disney World where you have to take transportation miles to get to the other park. But this is one of those things that I always think about when I give advice to people coming to Disneyland on a vacation. I'm like, just dedicate a one park, 1 day ticket to, an entire experience within that park for that day. It causes you to slow down and really appreciate it. You don't feel rushed. You don't feel like you're being pushed, across the Esplanade, like you got to get, your money's worth out of both parks, jumping back and forth. You get to really appreciate Disneyland for what it is, and you get to spend the entire day there. To me, I think that brings far more value than the park hopper ticket.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have an AP, then please utilize your AP. That's you getting your money's worth. But if you're like a group of 8, one park can easily take up your entire day. You can then leave, take a nap, come back. You don't feel like you're missing out on anything. I'd say that's a good idea.
Tom saying, as someone who has not yet been to Southern California, how much better is the water compared to Florida's water?
There's not as much calcium in there. It's not as rough, Tom. Tom, I believe he might be going to D23 this year in Anaheim, and so he's going to go out there. And so I've been telling him, like, listen, because this was my college program roommate. I've been telling him for years, like, Disneyland is the superior park, especially if you compare Disneyland to Magic Kingdom. Disneyland will beat it. I think DCA can go toe-to-toe with everything except for Epcot. Epcot's sort of its own game. But even then, DCA is still pretty solid overall. But, yeah, California water, I want to say, is great because we have mountains, while Florida has swamps, even though our mountains are on fire. We do get crazy rainfall. Like when it rains, it
pours.
The river fills up. Yeah. So
yeah.
And we steal our water from Colorado too. So
yeah. So we get it from all different areas around us. So
yeah, it's a water eat water world.
Now I will say Anaheim does have hard water for some reason, and that's something to take into account. But I definitely notice the different smell, taste, and texture of water in Florida when I'm there in Orlando versus water in Anaheim. Now, the nice part about the leaving the hard water behind in Orlando is that I don't have nearly as many like skin conditions, skin irritation as I do in Orange County, as I do in Anaheim versus Orlando. I go to Orlando and I'm fine. My skin's fine. I'm not irritated at all. But there's something in the water in Anaheim that bothers me, and I don't know what it is.
We're gonna get an esthetician on the show next week to cover all this. Like we're not just covering the Disney parks; we're also covering skincare routines.
What is in the water? Yes,
we do it all.
I would say best way to save money: wear sunscreen because it'll save you money at the dermatologist's office later down the line.
Won't have to worry about the skin cancer bills later. Absolutely. Yep. And Richard saying sometimes we would only buy one lightning lane for the group for the photo passes. So, certainly, if you can couple it, if you can get the deals, do that. But I just find that lightning lane in general is not something that I buy a lot of. I will only do it when I'm in Florida. I will only do it at Magic Kingdom, because it's consistently the busiest park. And so if there are, and it's only seldom too, I don't do it every single time. It's how bad do I want to ride things, and how long am I there? Is it only for the day? Do I only have that one opportunity? If so, I'll buy it. And Taylor, you're right. The price fluctuates now based on park demand. So if it's over a certain amount, like I won't pay over $25 for that pass now. I will not do that. So Garrett, speaking of water, are you filling up?
I am. I was hydrating. This is my Goofy mug. Also, from when I went on my Alaska cruise, I have a special mug with all my different stickers because I collect stickers wherever I go. This one is actually from a company that it's called, I don't know what the company is called, but they made like a Jungle Cruise shirt. I got all my little stickers, and there I got a sea otter.
Aww.
How well themed. My goodness.
Gotta stay hydrated. Personally, if I'm paying for water, it's going to be spring water or Ephesian. No Dasani, nothing.
No.
Never Dasani.
Never.
You want to live to see tomorrow? Don't be drinking that Dasani.
Nope. Is that their new is that the new catchphrase for Dasani? You want to live to see tomorrow? Don't drink Gus.
Don't be drinking Dasani. Nobody needs that. Absolutely. Well, thank you both for the money-saving tips when it comes to a visit to the Disneyland Resort, budgeting the right way, doing it the right way. How do you pull it off? Your tips are great, as well as many of our viewers sharing their tips and talking about what they would like to splurge on. As always, let us know in the comments specifically what it is that you do to budget yourself on a Disneyland trip, and just how exactly you pull off going to Disney parks nowadays without having to break the bank.
Yep.
We don't want that.
Nope.
Well, stand by. Looks like we have a viewer question that needs a response. Kingdom Team All Call time, where we take a look at some of the questions that come to us from our good friends out in the Kingdom Report universe. This week's question is, Avatar Land coming to California Adventure is not something that really excites me, and that we lose things like monsters for it disappoint me even more. It got me wondering if you all feel the same, and if so, what would you rather that area become besides Avatar? Now, certainly talking about California Adventure's expansion that will soon be getting underway. And as Garrett talked about on this very broadcast a little bit earlier, Monsters is sticking around a little while longer. We had originally anticipated this going away immediately, and now it's going to stick around for at least another year, it sounds like, which is good news. But two great questions being raised here. One, does Avatar Land excite you? Is that something that you're thrilled to see coming to DCA? And then two, are you of the mind that something else should be put in that spot? Should they do something else with the Hollywood backlot area, Hollywood Land of California Adventure? Taylor, what say you?
I mean, I love Avatar when I go to Animal Kingdom. I absolutely have to go there, and it's kind of like my excuse kind of to go to Orlando. I mean, I love Epcot, love every other place there, but Avatar is just so fun. So I was excited when I heard that it was coming to DCA, but when I heard that it was taking away Monsters, I was not happy because I love Monsters. My sister and I always go on that ride as much as we can when we're there. We love Harryhausen's. I would love for them to expand more on the Monsters universe there. I feel like it would work. I am excited if they do decide to finally bring it, but I think it would fit in another area of the park. Now, I know we are limited on space here in California, but if something else other than Avatar were to go there, I would say maybe Zootopia, something that could fit into that kind of realm of the city. We already kind of have the Hollywood feel to it. Why not bring in something that is animated that, could be fun? And even, I don't think you would need to take away Monsters. Like, you could keep Monsters and bring Zootopia in and kind of keep both of them there. But yeah, wasn't too thrilled when I heard they were getting rid of Monsters, because that ride is just so amazing. And I feel that the guests and fans have spoken up, which is probably why they have decided to elongate, the closing of it. Because I know a lot of people were not thrilled when they heard that Monsters was closing. So maybe us speaking up as fans definitely helped out. But I think it might be inevitable that it is going to go away, sadly, in 2027. And that's unfortunate for sure.
Big time. Unfortunate to lose such a classic dark ride that took the place of Superstar Limo, everybody's favorite
Yes.
Opening day attraction at California Adventure. And Garrett Tucker here from Arizona is asking this question about, are you, number one, looking forward to Avatar Land coming to California Adventure? And number two, if not, what would you put there?
I am excited about it, just from the standpoint that it's going to be different than the one at Animal Kingdom, as Bob Iger talked about it when it was announced initially, as well as what has been said. It's going to be focused on sort of, the second and third Avatar films, where it's more of that water element and utilizing the technology that they use in Shanghai Disney on their Pirates ride, where, the boat moves around. And if you can get the audio animatronics, whether it's the whales or the different creatures, because that's what really makes it special, or the banshees, that would make it even more amazing. And while this area of the park is very nice, I think it's sort of unfinished, where you have a Visa meet and greet with a Marvel character, which it was just sort of put together. You have Mickey's PhilharMagic, which it's not all that crazy. I miss Muppets, honestly. I'd rather have Muppets there. because now Muppets is gone. But if I also think about how at Tokyo Disney they have Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek, where it's a Monsters Inc. ride, but it's a game, sort of like Midway Mania, where you're trying to hit targets with like a flashlight, and you really go into that Monsters world. If they were to enhance the ride rather than just leave it what it is right now, that would make it more worthwhile. But I'm open to the idea of this becoming a new area and expanding it. I'm not sure how this will be shaped, because you also have, where you have the art classes and all that stuff down that boulevard. But I think that since this area is really underutilized and isn't really hitting a full potential, I'm all for it. But Pixar Pier is just around the corner, and Pixar is something that Monsters is a part of. They could easily add a Monsters Inc. attraction or experience over there, which I would be more than happy to welcome over there. I think it would make it perfect, and it would fit in with that area, whether that is, by the Incredicoaster or some other aspect. There's still room over there for them to add a Monsters Inc. ride. Heck, you could easily put Monsters Inc. where Ariel's Undersea Adventure is, because that's not even Pixar. There are smaller attractions over there that you could easily rip out, replace, whether it's Goofy Sky School, right? Yeah, Goofy Sky School. I'm thinking of the Barnstormer, but there's room for Monsters Inc. to go elsewhere. So trust me, Avatar will be amazing. Well, have your faith in the Imagineers. Joe Brody was the one that made it work. He was the one that convinced James Cameron and his team that they could do it. So I like to believe that his teachings are still in there. So Avatar will do well. But Monsters is never gone. It's coming to Hollywood Studios.
True.
On the other side of the country.
It's the truth. Yeah. I often think about how when this was first announced, the just idea of Avatar Land coming to the California property made me think like, oh, of course that's going in Disneyland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course that's going like back by, Critter Country and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Like that just makes sense. It's going back in that corner. It's going back there somewhere.
Right.
Never did I anticipate it was going to be in California Adventure, because I don't know how we're connecting this story. Unless we're renaming California Adventure at some point.
Adventure.
They're probably going to talk about
Welcome to Adventure.
Adventure.
Probably going to talk about some sort
but then we got the cruise ship. We got the cruise ship called the Adventure. So
there's a connection, but they're probably going to connect it to some sort of like scientific research institute in California, and that's your portal in or something like that. Like I would imagine, kind of like they did with
you got the Lawrence Livermore Labs, man.
Yep.
Stark Industry and Stark Labs, taking over this sort of like Bay Area like campus that we have at California Adventure now. So I guess that's how they're going to shoehorn this in. That's my take. Now, am I pumped about it just because of what I've seen in Animal Kingdom? It's spectacular. It's beautiful. It's so forward thinking and gorgeous and really captivating. Absolutely. I wish that, and I've said this before about things like Cars Land, I wish that we would leave large-scale IP projects where they're at. Ones that have been built, please don't replicate, because this gives less of a reason for people to visit if you have them all over the place. Kind of like Avengers Campus, right? Like you're putting Avengers Campus in a lot of places around the world. It makes it less enticing for people to come.
Right.
And it was the same thing with Cars Land, where originally they wanted to put another one out in Hollywood Studios, and I was like, why? Stop it. You finally have a reason to come to California Adventure. You finally have a heart to this park to pull people in. Stop reproducing what you create in other places, because you're going to stop the flow of traffic in this direction. So I was kind of anticipating that Avatar Land was not going to come to Disneyland specifically, just as a property. I thought they were going to come up with something very different. So it surprised me when I heard it. But I will say that area of the park, much like they're doing with Hollywood Studios now and revitalizing the animation building, I was kind of hoping that either they went all in on the idea of Monstropolis with this back corner of California Adventure, the Hollywood Land section, or they went all in on animation. That was what I was hoping for, because it feels like it fits the California story a little bit better, the animation part of it because it connects to Walt, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like it really helps to tell that story of DCA and the stepping off point for Walt in California. And he's got his statue there in Buena Vista Street, and it's the stepping off point. And like, look at all of what.
Why couldn't we get an Oswald attraction? Because
Ooh.
he occasionally pops up, but you could do a whole Oswald and Mickey adventure in that area to fill up the space. Leave it in the animation thing.
Yeah.
But these are wishes that
Brilliant idea.
with no genie to fulfill.
Brilliant idea, and would have been a perfect byproduct of an expansion of sort of the animation zone. And like I said, and then Monstropolis was kind of the other idea of like, well, if you got monsters back there, just go all in on the idea of, this is you have a door. That's the theory, right? You walk through the door, which is a portal that leads you into this world. So why not just create a Monstropolis back there and put up a bunch of, Hollywood facades that would otherwise cover things up because you're walking through the big door portal of monsters. So that would be my response to that. And, I'm certainly pumped that we're getting an Avatar land to begin with, but it just feels like, it was a dramatic pull for Animal Kingdom. It fits Animal Kingdom perfectly. I feel like having an Avatar anything out here it's not necessary, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the expansion. I just wish we wouldn't have to take away things to build new things, because that's not truly an expansion in my mind. I've said this before too. It's not an expansion if you're taking away stuff to build on top of.
Right.
Yeah.
Expansion is adding to what already exists. So maybe this will be justified in the end and we'll be wowed by it all, especially if Joe Rohde consults and you've got all of these people that help bring the Animal Kingdom version to life, bring the one out here to life. So cross your fingers, guys, and maybe we will see something spectacular show up. Yeah.
Well, we still have Disneyland Forward coming down the line, like the rest of it, like all that property, like the other construction that they still are going to do on the, like, I don't know, on the west or east side. I don't know, but on the far side near where the parking plaza is, like they can still build out there. So maybe we will be getting something better that will make it right in the end. But right now it just looks like you said, they're bulldozing something just to replace it, not enhancing.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring on the development, the growth, the expansion. I'm looking forward more so to the Coco attraction that will be happening on the backside of the park opposite of this. So
it'll be great.
Yeah, that one is going to be really thrilling, I think. And hopefully it will all pan out and be a dramatic expansion that will lead to so many more days spent at the original Magic Kingdom, right? So many more days spent. So with that said, I want to thank you both for joining me this week, and certainly Taylor for filling in for Tyler and Katrina as they were on.
Come back whenever, please.
I was gonna say,
please come.
I'll come. You'll win trivia. I got you.
See, we even match. Look, we got the greens
I know.
going on. Like Tyler and Katrina never want to match with me. No.
They never do. I've never understood why they treat you like that. Why
Well,
they
I'm
act
always
like that.
available.
Shame
So
on them. Well, you're the best.
Always welcome.
And where can people find more about you, Taylor?
Instagram, Higitus Figitus. So it's a lovely handle. I can share it, but it's HIGITS FIGITUS. Higitus Figitus. So you can find me on Instagram.
And that's a reference to, Sword of the Stone and your gal, Madam M, even though she didn't sing that song, but like Madam M, she's in that. When can we get the live action of that? I don't want a live action of Moana. Give me Merlin.
Yes.
And give me Madam M. And their battle. Oh, that'd be epic.
It'd be so cool.
Make it so. That's what we want. But grateful to have you both with us here this week. And certainly, we look forward to be back with you next week, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, for an all-new Kingdom Report Live. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney lives on because of people like Taylor, Garrett, you, and me. We'll see you next week.